to all the issues. Lord, keep me from going mental. Help me sure the bed ain't simple and stay woke on instrumentals.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CHH Hysteria, a podcast for CHH about everything CHH. I am your host, Cole.
And I'm your co-host, Cooper.
And today we are joined by two fantastic guests. We have Justin of Rapzilla and up-and-coming CHH artist Rob B. Thank you both for coming on. We're both huge fans of your work. We love what you guys do.
Yo. Thanks for having us. Good to be here.
We brought these two guys on to have an open-ended conversation about the relationship between CHH Media and CHH Artists. You know, Justin, he's the editor-in-chief at Rapzilla, and Rob B makes great music. So we thought these two would be good contenders for this conversation. I just want to start out by talking a little bit about what do you guys say is the current relationship between artists and CHH and the media? And I'll let Rob B start.
Oh, snap. All right. So I think as far as artists and CHH Media, we have a pretty good relationship because we're both as artists and media growing as a genre at the same time. Since we're not necessarily a huge mainstream genre yet, I believe there's not such a disparity gap within artists and the media. Of course, Rapzilla is like the top dog, and you do have to have very quality content and some, sort of little bit of a following behind you for the most part to, get covered by them. But for the most part, I feel like, that we're growing in, one accord with each other as, the genre gets bigger. So I think the relationship is pretty tight right now. I think it's good.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on how CHH is growing so much. I feel like the past few years, and I've been listening to CHH for a while, and maybe it's just because I was younger, but I feel like now there's a bunch more artists, and every single day there's more artists coming on the scene and very high quality artists. So it's just cool seeing how much CHH has been growing even in just the past 5 years. Justin, how would you describe the relationship?
It's kind of tricky, right? Because when you think of normal mainstream media and the people that they cover, there's really not much of a relationship there, right? If you're talking, if we just even keep it in hip hop, like Double XL or Complex, these places are huge and they cover all sorts of artists. And then at the end of the day, that reporter probably, unless you're Sean Evans of Hot Ones, probably goes home and they don't talk to any artist. They don't deal with artists. They're done. Their 9 to 5 is over. But CHH is so small, right? And we all cover the same events. We're all going to the same places. The tier list of artists, everyone's kind of coming up under. So it's the community is so small that we're always on top of each other. We're accessible. We follow each other on social media. We talk back and forth. That doesn't really happen anywhere. Jay-Z is not going to go back and forth on Twitter with somebody from a magazine that covers them. That's not going to happen. But with Rapzilla, you could tweet at me and I will probably answer 99.9% of the time. So the trickiest part of doing media within CHH is trying to keep that bias and that objectivity, because you create these relationships, these people, somebody that was discovered on Rapzilla or whatever. Or for example, Rob B is on Rapzilla. We post about him. He interacts with us, whatever. 5-10 years down the line, maybe he's the biggest artist in CHH. And it's we had that relationship from the beginning, but we also have a responsibility to cover him fairly. And I'm not saying you will, but if you do something wrong or dumb and it's oh crap, this is a really bad story, I can't be me and Rob B are cool, so I'm not even gonna cover it. It's nah, I gotta do my job. And I say that all the time. I've said that to artists. I was please never do something so dumb that I have to write about you in this way, because I have to do it. That's my job, So it is a fine line, and that line gets drawn often where it's just oh man, what do I do? I know this person, or I've met this person. I got to write about something, or they messed up, or we got a leak. We found like a leak of their song, or like something super newsworthy. It's like if we put it out, we might mess up something for them, but then we're not doing our jobs and someone else is going to do it anyway. So it's kind of a tough space to be. And then you always get thrown, but you guys are supposed to be Christians and do the right thing and don't be divisive. It's just like, but I'm a journalist, man. Like I didn't like, my degree doesn't say like Christian journalist. It just says journalist, and I do journalism within the Christian sphere. So yeah, it's definitely tricky. The relationship is cool because artists can interact with us. Like we're accessible. Like you guys just got me on this podcast by DMing me on Instagram, and I was like, sure, let's do it. That doesn't happen anywhere else. So it is like this really cool thing to go back and forth and be involved. It does complicate a lot of things too. And, you know, one of them being, you guys saw, we dropped the Rapzilla freshman list yesterday, which is the most painful, excruciating, not even the list, the nominees, things that we have to do, because we started with a list of 65 to 70 people. And it was just like, oh man, like, how do we narrow this down? We know these people, we like these people, they're all super talented. But you have to put that bias aside and just be like, okay, do they qualify for this? Does this happen? Do we think they're going to be better next year? The year after that, did they miss their time? So, man, it's a team effort, it's a group effort, and it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah, I really like. I feel like you described that really well with like how we know the artist and the artists know us. So like when you make a list, like the freshman list that you guys just made, like it's hard because you want to put everyone on because you know everyone, and then also you might have something kind of like in the back of your mind like worrisome about their acceptance of you if you don't put them on. I don't know if that's something that happens at Rapzilla at all, but like, you know, like if I don't cover this guy like this, or if I don't put him on this list, like will we still be friends, you know? So like, yeah, I agree with you said. It's definitely complicated. And I also like how you said like it's just so accessible versus like the secular hip hop, just because of how small it is. Do you think that works in our favor, or do you think it hurts us more than?
I think it hurts us more than it would hurt the artist, because the artist it's never a negative for an artist to be able to get the attention of somebody to give them coverage or whatever it is. But it definitely hurts me because I have 100 people hitting me from all different directions. And then you get one person who's like, you know, always talking about being accessible, and everyone says that you're super cool and they could talk to you, but you never answered my DM. I'm just like, sorry, man, I got like 100 DMs. Or like, or a lot of artists tend to think that we owe them something because we've spoken. Like, I've met Justin, so I know that Justin is going to write about me, and then I don't, and then now I'm throwing shade or I'm a bad person. It's like, nah, man, like I just, for whatever reason, I didn't, or I didn't think it was newsworthy, or sometimes, God forbid, like it wasn't good. We didn't think it was good, and that happens to artists that we really like too. And
artists just love to be in our feelings too much.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't blame you at all, because I understand what it's like. It's like somebody, it's like you have this baby, and you're like, look at my baby, my beautiful child that was just birthed into the world. Someone's like, dang, your baby's nose is funny, or like they find something wrong with your baby, and they're like, yo, your baby's ugly, bro. Like, I don't want to see that picture. So I understand, you know, I've done music in the past before, and then even if you flip it on the other side, like I could pour my heart out like on an article, like spend hours on it. It's like, yeah, this is the best thing I ever wrote. And then I post it and it's like 5 likes. And it's just like, oh my God, like nobody cares. Like, then I'm in my feelings, or someone goes, yo, this article's trash, or your opinion is whack, or like you suck. And then we're in our feelings because we're like, no, we're trying really hard.
Right.
So I understand, man. It's like I said, it's not easy, and I think if you have conversations like this, and you're both able to see that you have more in common than you actually like have not in common, because
Right.
you're both doing something creative and you're doing it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we're on the same team, you know? Like, that's how it goes. Justin, how long have you been in Rapzilla?
So I started in Rapzilla as a freelancer in November or December of 2015, and then I
So it's been
kind
a
of
while.
came on part time in 2016, and then by like 2017, this was like my full time thing, and then eventually I just became the editor, and you know, I'm I'm more so like the title is editor in chief, but it's really a three-headed monster of Chad Horton, myself, and Stephen Solis. And Chad Horton's the owner. I'm the editor in chief. My main goal is that content that you're going to see on the website. All the articles, the postings, ideas for things, the shows. And then Stephen is a lot of the back end stuff. The playlisting, kind of the A&Ring, the scouting for the music or whatever. So if you're mad about not getting played, yell at Steven and not me. But yeah, so that's kind of like how we work. All three of us kind of like operate and do something, that we focus on.
Right, that's good. So you've been in CHH Media for about 6 years. How would you say over those 6 years, how has it changed, the relationship?
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? How's it changed the relationship? Relationship to what?
Oh, my bad. How is from what you've seen, how has the relationship between CHH Media and artists have changed?
I mean, it's pretty much been the same since I got with Rapzilla. Like, it was interesting even for myself coming in. Like when I first started doing stories or whatever, and Chad will be like, he would be like, hey, just DM KB, or just DM, or just hit up whoever. I'm like, what do you mean hit them up? Like, they follow us on Rapzilla, so just DM them and ask them a question. And I'm like you could just do that, because prior to that I worked at another Christian publication. It was a super big one, but the artists that we covered were like CCM, worship, like we're talking like the big ones, like Toby Mac, your Carrie Jobs, Michael W. Smith, like these huge artists that are like on that pedestal of like untouchable. So for those, you gotta go through the publicist, you gotta go through the manager, you need to set up a time like a month in advance. And then when I got to covering CHH, it was like, yeah, just shoot him a DM and ask him a question. Like, what? So that was kind of weird. So in that same way that we're accessible to artists, are pretty accessible to us. Like, a lot of us have each other's numbers. We could DM. We have each other's personal emails. I never got Toby Mac's phone number or his personal email. So it was just like a crazy, sort of like a crazy thing. For me as a journalist too, having such close access to the people that I'm going to be writing about for the first time.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I agree, because like for example, like we only have like a little over 50 subscribers, and I was still able to reach out to Robbie and be like, "You want to come on?" Like, and he was super responsive, which I'm super thankful for. And going over to Robbie, how long? I know you've probably been rapping for longer than you have on Spotify, but like how long have you been in CHH for?
So I started releasing in CHH when I was about 18 years old. So I've been in the genre for about 6 years now. Made a lot of crappy music in the beginning years. One of those, just like really slow growth until now moments. But overall, it's just been, a journey. A lot of people come out the gate with like a ton of talent and a ton of, just their sonics are just on point. For some people, it takes a while to really, get that talent and craft honed in. And unfortunately, I'm that kid in class that has to work 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as hard. So ended up, taking a long time to get work to where I'm at now. But it is all worth the journey. And I believe that God has had, a purpose through all of it. So very grateful for the long process.
Yeah, and now you're making banger after banger.
Thank you, bro.
What? I'm gonna ask you kind of like the same question I asked Justin. Then, how would you say from when you started in CHH like 6 years ago? How would you say your relationship with the media has changed as you've gotten better?
So it's definitely like the relationship with the media sources have gotten easier to contact, because sometimes when you're starting out as an artist, when you're first making music, it's scary to submit your songs into the emails and into people that are going to objectively kind of pick it apart and figure out whether they want to post it or not. So it was nerve-wracking for me at first. And when I first had my first mixtape, which I completely demolished off of all media platforms, like none of y'all gonna listen to that because that was absolutely trash. But I had so much confidence in it at first, and I just was smashing the submit button for emails and stuff, and I got nothing back. Nobody responded to me. Nobody hit me back. So I was like, oh man, this must be garbage. But it's just one of those things where it's like when you don't get an email back, artists, rather than getting in your feels, that's when I was starting to develop my tough skin in the game, and figuring out like, okay, well, for them, they have to post quality content, so it's up to me to give them quality content. So there's a give and take relationship, and I had to learn that early on. But I think the more you work on your craft, the more it's going to benefit you, and the more it's going to benefit them. And so at the end of the day, everybody wins. You know what I'm saying? So I think the relationship, if you continue to work on yourself and you continue to hone your craft and make sure you give them quality content, the more tight you guys are going to be. And I mean, we're all working towards excellence at the end of the day, and glorifying God through it. So, through that process, man, I think that my experience has been very positive, and I feel like I'm able to submit music now with confidence that I didn't have 5-6 years ago. So
yeah, let me, if you don't mind, jumping off the back of what he said.
Go for it.
Dude, you're like, you get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists don't get it, and that's the problem. Like, how you could even joke about demolishing that mixtape off of, the planet so nobody can hear it. People don't get that. And they'll be like, what? You didn't like my mixtape from GarageBand that I recorded, not even on a microphone, but just yelling into my computer's microphone that picks it up. Like, and everybody thinks that, their latest song is their greatest song, but rejection builds that tough skin. And how you said that it's very like nerve-wracking to send those emails out, and then you're just waiting to hear back. Even to put it back on the media side, it's like, it's really tough for us to like deny people. It's like you get someone's like, hey, can I get that feedback or whatever, and they just be like, to tell someone like to them like
truth,
like it wasn't good, like how OB does every Friday night, like I can't do that, I'm too nice. My method of we didn't accept your song on Rapzilla is I just don't answer your email. But at the same time, we get so many emails, so like if you hear back from me, that means we're posting you. It's basically what I tell people. If you hear back from me, you're getting posted. If you don't hear back from me, try again in a couple days, and if you don't hear back, it's probably going to be a no. But it's a variety, So, and it's also for the artist that's watching this. Sometimes it's a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's not even because the music wasn't that good. Just maybe sometimes like that we didn't have enough time to post it, or whoever it might be, they didn't have enough time to post it. Maybe it just wasn't what they were looking for on the site at the moment. Like maybe you'll do better somewhere else. Maybe sometimes you get someone who doesn't have the right ear for you, like the person reviewing the submissions that day like really likes trap, and you sent some like crazy awesome boom bap song, and they're like, yeah, I'm not really into that. And that doesn't really say much about your quality. That's just that person didn't like it. And people make music for different audiences. So you should never be discouraged unless somebody outright tells you, yo, this is whack and trash. But even still, get a second opinion, but get like a valid opinion, like not your mom or like your cousin or your best friend. Like find somebody who's like in this mentorship role to you that you know is going to shoot it straight with you. Be like, hey, this is the feedback that I got. Do you agree?
OB.
And if that mentor, if you have that access, like again, we're talking about CHH. People don't have access to like Boy Wonder or like a producer that's out there, but you have pretty good access to be able to get in front of OB, and OB will let you know. I will not, because I cower away. I'm a coward. I can't tell artists that they suck. I feel really bad. I just rather not respond to them. Go ask OB. Praise God, you're doing great. But just not today. I was busy.
No, I feel that rejecting someone's music it makes you feel like a bad person. 100%. So something I think that Rapzilla does is really cool is like, I think it's only been going on for a few years now, but they have this like system like where they like upload artist music on Spotify like under their name. I think that's a really dope idea. And how I'll go Rob B first. Have you ever uploaded something on through Rapzilla?
Yes. I think the partnerships with Rapzilla are super dope. I'm not gonna like disclose like a bunch of like the information that goes into it because I don't know how confidential it is on their side. But
right.
The experience that I've had with them has been phenomenal. From getting on playlists, a lot of great opportunities through there.
And Justin, how would? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, how would you say, like, how has this benefited Rapzilla, and how have you seen it benefit artists?
Yeah, well, again, this is part of like the three-headed monster thing. So, like, that's all Steven for the most part, and a bit of Chad handle that. So when you've done the tracks with Rapzilla, Robbie, like you dealt with them. I know how it works because I'm here, but I don't have my hands in that. But essentially it's a partnership with the artist, and it's both of your song. The artist is in charge of creating the song, and then you give it to us, and then it's like, all right, we'll take care of the rest. We'll get it uploaded, we'll get it on playlist, we'll promote it through our site, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, on our playlist. And then they pitch it out for playlisting to different places. So essentially you're entering your partnership is essentially like a marketing deal. And it's what a label would essentially do, except they would keep all the money and then send your song out and then take all the credit for it. While Rapzilla's like, you could do your creative thing and we will do all of the hard work that the artist doesn't have to do. So you could focus on being creative. And then we'll help you try to blow that song up. And then, the song gets more streams, it's more revenue, whatever. Rapzilla gets paid for their time, and then you get paid, potentially more than what you would have made if you put it out on your own, especially if you're a smaller artist. Like if you're a big artist who already has that following, like dropping a song with us isn't going to help you because you have that steady fan base. You'll probably make less money on streaming because now you have to split it. But if you're somebody who like doesn't know how to do any of this stuff, it's kind of a no-brainer. And even though we're talking about revenue with streaming, it's like, how much are you really making during streaming anyway? So it's not like anyone's getting like rich off of this, but it's like it's a boost, and you do enough of it, and it definitely helps. And I've seen a ton of artists blow up. And from placements, like getting on beast mode, like somebody like Shepard, who had the song Game Time. I think it has like 9 million plays or something like that. That was a Rapzilla partnership that we pitched out. So once in a while you'll get like I don't want to say like one hit wonders, but you'll get like that viral, like that hit that just goes crazy. And that's cool. And that's good for everybody. That's good for the culture.
That Game Time song, that was the one that had Shaq on it, right?
That was the remix. Yeah, we had nothing to do with the Shaq part, but
okay.
we had the. I wish we could take credit for the Shaq part, but we had the original mix before he went for the remix.
Nice. Yeah, I found countless artists through that Spotify partnership that you do, as well as like when you put it on on your YouTube channel. What areas do you think? This might be a little bit of a controversial question, but what areas do you guys think could improve in this relationship? Either one of you can go first.
Robbie, you go first.
I go first?
So I can have my rebuttals ready if I don't agree with you.
Okay. Oh, man, lots of pressure. All right. Well, as far as the relationship improving, I feel like I mean, like you guys said, you guys are already so accessible. So like, I mean, comparing it to like the secular outlets, there's no comparison. However, I mean, man, it is just it's such a weird thing to say that it needs an improvement because of what I just said. But I mean, we got Clubhouse where we can all talk. We got Instagram where we can all connect. As far as man, maybe okay. So maybe there's like, man, I'm just literally spitballing in the dark right here with this improvement stuff. I feel like Bob the Builder right now. Trying to build something out of nothing right here.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. As far as improvement goes, I think what we can do better is focus more on the genres that are outside of. I mean, I'm ready for a rebuttal. The genres outside of like maybe like just the regular trap. Because there's a lot of dope boom bap out there, you know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of dope R&B. I know you guys covered that, but I don't necessarily see a spotlight. Maybe that's because trap has had such a decade-long great run on the charts. But I don't know, maybe like a spotlight on the R&B artists or you know, like the boom bap artists, maybe even the lo-fi guys. Feel a little bit left out sometimes because mainly we do focus so highly on 808s and the Atlanta type flow and stuff, and maybe that could be an improvement. I don't know.
So, quick question: who are some like boom bap or R&B or lo-fi people? Like when you said that, like who was in your mind?
So as far as boom bap goes, there's this artist that he actually got nominated. So I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but Bats is incredible with boom bap.
That was one of my guys that made it, and I said I fought for. I was like, yo, we need him on here. He's dope.
Yeah. Bats is super fire. I feel like. Who else did boom bap that was a little bit slept on coming up? I feel like Ruslan is in his own lane now, but I feel like when he was doing boom bap and stuff, he was a little bit slept on. But maybe that could be just like the fan base and stuff. But I mean, he's still a gigantic artist within the Christian hip hop space. But Belief was slept on a little bit for boom bap, I think, and yeah, I mean, as far as R&B goes, I mean that it doesn't cross my mind for an R&B artist in Christian hip hop because I mean I'm in the dark as far as that goes. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard really like a spotlighted R&B artist yet. Maybe even lo-fi. Because lo-fi is starting to have a little come up. I don't know if like there's proclaimed Christian lo-fi artists out there, of course, but I believe Poetics is starting to do like lo-fi and stuff, but it's hard to like determine whether they're, like, is this a Christian lo-fi song, because there's not a lot of lyrics going on and stuff, but I don't know. That's just food for thought.
Yeah, no, it's good thoughts. It's so hard to cover everything. Like I try to have, like, we have Luke DiMarzio on our site, he does a great job. He does a list every month of Luke's picks, 4 or 5 artists every month that you might not have heard of. So he does a really good job of getting those slept on picks in. A lot of the trap artists or the up and coming artists doing, the things that are popular, the sound that's in, like those are the people that are on Critique Fridays and OB gets to them. And then I get like the mixed bag of everything when submissions in. Everyone watching this, I have a soft spot for boom bap because I'm from New York City. I've always been from New York City, and I'm 32 years old. So boom bap is right in my wheelhouse of things that I like. So I get yelled at all the time, like, oh, look, Justin posted another rapidy rapper. But it's like, yeah, because I like rapidy rap. But I also have to, one of the tricky parts is also having that kind of the awareness that maybe if music isn't your style, you have to know whether that music is good or not and whether your audience would like it. So like, there's artists out there like, man, I can't stand this music, but I know that people love it. So did this person do a good job at doing it? And if they did, I'll post them, even if it doesn't do anything for me, because I'm just like, okay, they're doing something really well that I know our audience is going to like. So it's making those, those like little things in my mind that try to give everybody that fair coverage. And then if I just don't get it, I bring it to a larger group and I'll be like, yo, team, take a listen to this. Am I tripping? Like, is this good or is this bad? Whatever it is. Yeah. Now, as far as the initial question at hand, like what could be better in this relationship, is kind of what I was talking about before with the accessibility. I think a lot of artists think that because we're so accessible, like I said, that like they're owed something, or there's like a little bit of entitlement, or like they think it's okay to kind of cross boundaries sometimes. Like I have artists, and these are people I don't know, and there's always going to be people like this, but like I'll post a picture of my son on Instagram and someone will be like, comment on it, yo, check out my new music video. And then they drop a link and I'm like, this is a picture of my son. Like,
yeah, for real, bro.
Like, delete, block. Like, you're spamming pictures of my kids. It's bad enough when you tag me. Like, I think I tweeted one time, I was like, dang, I must have a lot of features this year because I'm tagged on like 65 different songs on Facebook and on Instagram that I don't remember ever dropping a verse on. So like, it's bad enough getting like spam tagged with stuff. Or like I've had artists text me at 3:30 in the morning, yo man, I just sent you an email, like let me know what you think. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's 3:30 in the morning. Second of all, if you sent me the email, I will see the email. You don't have to. I've had people email me to let me know that they've emailed me something else. Like, it's just like,
all right, Justin,
what are you doing? I'm
just joking.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? So it's just like I'm not trying to harass any artist, like, or take advantage of any relationship that's built. Like, if I got somebody kind of big's number, I'm not constantly texting them trying to be their best friend. Like, I keep it professional. If I have something to ask or whatever, I'm not hounding these people. So I would ask that artists do that, kind of give the same respect for the people that cover them. Because if you annoy the people who you're trying to get the attention of, it's like, yeah, look, you got our attention. We know not to pay attention. So it has the adverse effect. So that would be one of my things that I think we could do better. from both sides. And something that we could do better is and it's tough because when you ask like things we could do better, so many people have different opinions. So I guess it's trying to, I think more so to what you were saying, Robbie, is just kind of being fair to everybody. Give these people their coverage, give these people, try not to focus so much on, one specific type of artist or label or whatever. Like, how do we get everybody from this sphere of Christian hip hop involved? Maybe not at the same level, but like give people their shine. And it's really tough. It's really tough, but like, if artists make it easy for us to get these things and to find these things, it makes our job so much easier. We're not out to get anybody. There's no shade or slight. It's just like, no, we're extremely busy and inundated with a lot of things.
Exactly.
So just make our job easier and we could better serve you.
100%.
Yeah, I think that is like, as well as like a way that the relationship can improve. I also think that's just really good advice in general, is what you just said. So the final question I want to ask you guys is, whether this is future, past, or like current, what are some of the obstacles that you've seen or think we will face in CHH?
Yeah, a little more context, like obstacles concerning what?
I guess kind of like what we're talking about, like the relationship between this media and the artist. If maybe we kind of already covered it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like I said it. Like, it's just
the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. My bad.
You're fine.
You good?
Yeah.
Robbie, do you have anything?
And obstacles that we may run into are the very same things that we will be faced, or like that we have faced right now, but at a different level, because we're a growing genre right now, and I think even as the times are changing and stuff, like we're gonna be so focused on ourselves and so focused on like getting that attention, because we've become so I don't want to say like narcissistic because of social media, but like when you're putting that stuff out there and gaining all this dopamine from vanity metrics, you want to just start reaching for clout all that you can, and that's just such a scary trap to fall into. Social media is a great thing. Getting media coverage is a great thing, but just a message to all artists: those likes, those comments don't define you. Give those guys their boundaries. Don't be commenting on their kids' photos, fam, about your music.
That's
like, good Lord, don't be that guy. Stop tagging Justin and tagging even me in your videos.
Yeah, you get it too, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I think that's just going to continue to happen, unfortunately, but that's just one of the punches that we just got to keep on rolling with.
Yeah, I could, so I don't leave this question answerless. I'll give you an answer kind of related to something else. Like, I feel like one of the biggest things that CHH has faced in the past is its legitimacy and finding its home of relevance within music, right? Like you have these huge genres of actual hip hop where, it's the biggest thing in the world. But then on the Christian music side, it's like CCM and worship music, and it's this whole huge thing. And then all the way in this little tiny space in between Christian music and hip hop, it comes together with Christian hip hop in the middle. And for many years, it was just like this corny, cheesy thing, like Christians rapping, this is so dumb, blah, blah, blah. The music was always 5 to 10 years behind. So like, we wouldn't, CHH wouldn't have been getting trap music until like 2025. And then be like, yeah, this new cool thing that's in now, everyone's doing it. And it's like, nah, wait, that happened already. Like that always happened throughout all the years. So I think finally CHH is in this competitive space where it's just as good, if not better, than what you would hear on the radio, because the artists here now, like Raw B, like anyone else who's on the freshman nominees, Lecrae, even up to Lecrae, like whoever it is, they've had to kind of fight and compete to say, hey, like I'm a legitimate artist. I'm really good. I can rap my brains out. I can have awesome production. I can have a cool message in the music. My marketing, my branding, my artwork is all on point. So we've kind of had to like fight and claw to get to where we are for legitimacy. And I think when the good artists are good, they rise to the top. They get discovered. That's why you see someone like Lecrae being so successful doing this, this little tiny thing called Christian rap. Or you see like NF is one of the biggest artists in the world who came out of the Christian rap genre. Like whether he's in it or whether you would consider him that now or whatever is irrelevant, but he still came from us. He started here. But why? Because he was really good. He was legitimate. He had branding. He got himself a record deal. Like this could happen to any one of the top artists in CHH. And I think that's really cool that, people have to pay attention, because just like how hip hop runs the mainstream culture, we have people that are Christians who look up to hip hop culture. So we should be able to provide their sense of hip hop culture, but in the way that we can. And I think CHH is in the best place to do that now. And of course, there's always going to be complications. There's always going to be problems, but we fought our way to get here to where we're at now. And I think it's only going to be up from here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think what you said was really good. But anyways, thank you both of you so much for coming on. Before we go, where can we find you guys on socials?
You go first.
Oh, okay. So I mainly post on IG, y'all. So go ahead and find me at RAW, RAW_B7. And then you can find me on Facebook with that same handle. You can find me on TikTok with that same handle. I try to make my handles across all platforms the same. So I mainly post on Facebook, IG, and I post a little bit on YouTube. I'm working on getting there a little bit more, but you can always search my actual artist name, RAW-B, on all streaming platforms to find my music.
Nice.
And for me, I went last because, of course, my name is weird at my last name. It's just I'm at Justin Sarachick everywhere, SARACHIK. Just look at the posts that they do for this. I'm sure my name will be on it. Just follow that and make it all one word. You will find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Twitter, I post a lot of artist tips to make the artist better, to make my job easier, all helpful stuff. On Instagram, it's a mixed bag of my children, food, and CHH things.
Yes, sir.
And then Facebook is dead, but you can follow me there. but that's it. Yeah, just Justin Sarachick everywhere, one word.
Nice. Well, thank you again. So be sure to leave a comment on your thoughts on everything that we talked about, as well. Tell us on the socials. We want this to be an open-ended conversation, so whether you're a fan, media, or artist, be sure to chip in. And also follow us on our socials, which is @CHH Hysteria. I'm like Robbie. I really only post on Instagram, but we do have a Twitter. Also, if you're a CHH head, be sure to join the CHH Discord. We have over 300 members, super active, got some artists in there. And until next time,